Hi everyone. So now I'm going to talk about extroverted sensing when it's blocked with introverted feeling. So as I said before, blockings require both elements to be static. And extroverted sensing is static, and introverted feeling, like introverted thinking, is also static. So what do these two have in common as well as being static? So they're no longer both external. Instead, they're both involved. So it's a doubly involved pairing. So this is very much about interactions, people with attitudes, the nature of other people, and how to work with them, essentially. And the attitude being taken here is where it is about assertiveness, it is about direct action, but it's also about relations. Now, if you remember relations, this focus on how one personally feels towards things is a very key part here in blocking together force and relations. So, what does this essentially look like? This is an attitude towards people whereby you are trying to figure out people's intentions. What are people about? What is their character? And you're doing it not through speculation on what's underneath. You are looking at what people have done. What are the concrete, real things to tell you about a person's character? So that means if someone has done you wrong, they are a scumbag. And you are going to create a relationship with them that is one of antipathy. That person is not a nice person. I am now creating a boundary that is being upheld by my assertiveness so that you are not going to get within 5 feet of me. I'm not going to let you. I'm going to fight you off if necessary. There's a certain independent streak which comes from extroverted sensing and introverted feeling that essentially you are setting up the right boundaries with each person so that no one can take away your independence. No one can exercise control over you. Now, I would also say about extroverted sensing and introverted feeling, there's that side, of course. There's sort of the what I call the harsh judgment side, which can make people very, very judgmental, very much vociferous in countering evil and wickedness in other people based on one's personal attitude towards them. The sort of Christopher Hitchens sort of character who would write polemics telling you about how Mother Teresa was not very nice all along and all the rest. There's also the other side to extroverted sensing and introverted feeling, which is what about the people who are judged and found to be good people, found to be people that the extroverted sensing and introverted feeling oriented type likes? Well, then it's quite a different story. These are very fiercely loyal types. They are going to be about not only fighting off the wicked, but very much standing up in their loyalty for those who have won their trust and won their respect in their personal one-to-one relationship. So they're also very much inclined, as the reverse of that, to go after those who throw others under the bus, who are not loyal, who you essentially are showing themselves that they cannot be trusted. Jacques Chirac, the French president, had such a problem with Valéry Giscard d'Estaing, the preceding French president, I say, not prime minister. That yes, he basically felt he was a bad person because he essentially thrown someone else under the bus politically. So there's very much a fierce loyalty, a very much a strong need to call out badness in other people, and they can be quite happy to do that publicly if necessary. It's not about narrative shaping so much. It's not extroverted sensing, introverted thinking. It's not about what everyone else thinks and setting that structure. Instead, it's about, right, I'm going to call you out. I'm going to essentially avenge my friend against you, essentially. And also, I'm going to make very, very clear you're not going to come anywhere near me or other people who I personally care about. So it's quite a grim, quite austere approach to managing people. But it's also firm and fast and very trustworthy and very reliable And for some types, that's kind of what you're wanting, especially in a hard, tough world where there are people who are going to be looking to swindle you, people who are going to be of a bad character. You're going to want to have someone who can pick out the good from the bad in a very sort of quick, very heuristic way. We don't have enough time to speculate. You just got to be able to make a quick judgment and act upon it. So that's very much the benefit of extroverted sensing and introverted feeling when it comes together. So yeah, what else can I say about it? It's something which also has led to the ability to lead others, because not necessarily out of a need to lead for its own sake, but by being able to form close connections with people, understanding people's characters, you build not only your own respect in others, but their respect for you. And so you often find that these sorts of types can become leaders. But it's not the sort of leader where they are trying to engage lots of different people in a sort of charismatic way. It's more a sort of first among equals sort of thing, where they are simply more decisive, they tend to take charge, they are the more dominant one in the relationship. But there is a very much a respect, very much a mutual appreciation in that connection, which means that other people will then stand by this person. And it's always very much more informal rather than formal. Again, it's not a formal hierarchy. It's not the king to his subject. It is the first among equals. It is that person I respect more than anyone else to be making a decision, if anyone has to be making a decision. I respect their competence and their judgment and their integrity. That kind of idea. Very much, it works better on the personal. It's very good for negotiations, backroom deals, where you get a sense of what someone really wants, and you know how to give them what they actually really want in that negotiation and find the way to actually reach a workable, manageable compromise. It's not as absolute as, say, extroverted sensing and introverted thinking in that way. It's not about the absolute truth. It is about how can I find my way of working with you and knowing what you're like, how close I actually want you to be. So, yeah, that is extroverted sensing and introverted feeling when they're brought together. Force and relations.